Okay. Okay. So hello, everyone. I'm Patrick McCartney. I am the Executive Director of the International Essential Tremor Foundation. We hope you and your family are staying safe during this crazy times and during this pandemic. And even though the IETF staff has been working from home since the second week of March, we've continued to work on raising awareness for essential tremor and continuing our education efforts for the ET community. So this pandemic has caused a lot of extra stress and anxiety in our world, and we all know that these are major triggers for essential tremor. So we wanted to offer a program to you to help you with these issues. So at our education forum, it's been a couple years ago, I think now, maybe a year and a half, 2 years in Dallas, we had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Michael Braitsch, who presented on coping techniques for essential tremor. So we've invited him here with us today to share some tips on reducing your stress and anxiety. Along with, he's going to demonstrate some exercises you can do at home. So before I turn the program over to Michael, I'm going to share a little bit about him. So Dr. Michael Braitsch is a board licensed doctor of physical therapy, former amateur fighter, a former kinesiology professor, and an internationally certified fight referee. In addition to treating individual patients, he runs group exercise programs steeped in leading evidence from physical therapy and exercise science to help people with chronic and progressive conditions move better and feel better. He also runs programs including Southpaw's Parkinson's boxing, Tai Chi for balance, adaptive Kung Fu for kids with cerebral palsy, and adaptive Olympic-style weightlifting for strength and conditioning. So through his work as a board member for the Adaptive Martial Arts Association and through work on the board of the UT Southwestern Adaptive Sports Expo, he wants to change the way physical therapy is structured for people with chronic and progressive conditions, empowering people to better participate in community wellness. And as a longtime competitor and exercise enthusiast, he has the experience and passion to modify exercise and motivate others to reach their wellness goals. So Michael, thank you for joining us today.
Hey there, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. And as Patrick mentioned, with essential tremor, more than with many other diagnoses, that mind-body connection is key. And at a time like now, when people can be stressed out for a variety of reasons, it's even more important to take some time to try to calm down that fight or flight response that's common in the sympathetic nervous system. See if you can train a relaxation response in the body. And a lot of evidence is out there that supports any type of exercise as a great way of doing that. In particular, there are mindfulness-based approaches to exercise that certainly provide that as an avenue or an outlet for you. One of which I'm very passionate about, which is Tai Chi. It's an old Chinese martial art, and it's been practiced all over the world for a variety of conditions, but certainly helpful for balance, for coordination, for stimulating cognition, but really for a lot of people I see it's incredibly helpful if for no other reason than for the meditative aspect of it, because we couple our breath with our movement. And so it's slow, it's low impact, and so that way you can get some great exercise done. You can get a nice calming effect from exercise. And at the same time, you're not flaring up aches and pains from living life that you would with something like high impact exercise. Pretty commonly taught with Tai Chi is an internal practice called Qigong. And that means a lot of things to a lot of people. Also, just like any term from Mandarin, it has a lot of different pronunciations, but Qigong is an internal practice, which means it's more meditative, where you use movement to get more in touch with your body, and you use movement as a means of action meditation. So what we'll do today is a simplified version of the world's most common Qigong set of movements. It's called the 8 Pieces Brocade. And if you hop on YouTube, you'll probably see hundreds or maybe even thousands of versions of this that all have slight differences But you'll also see in each of those versions a whole lot of similarity. And that's because Qigong predates Tai Chi as a practice. So it's been something that's been practiced around the world for thousands of years. And the reason a lot of folks that I work with love it is, in addition to the meditative aspect, you get to work on just slowing things down and gaining more of an awareness of what's going on in the body right now. Plus, when you think about the nuances of the movement and you couple them with the breathing, it's kind of hard for the brain to race and for you to think about maybe something that should have happened in the past that didn't, or something that's coming up in the future. And when a lot of people talk about mindfulness and they talk about mindfulness-based exercise, they're talking about anything that gets you to focus on right now. And a lot of people that I work with say something to the effect of, hey, my tremor certainly can be managed in a lot of different ways. For example, if I just really focus on it, I can calm it down a little bit. I might not be rid of it, but I can calm it down. And I think that speaks to the power of the mind in relaxing the body. Also, if you think about the old idea of use it or lose it, whether you have a tremor or not, as we age, it's really important to take care of your body, because exercise is medicine to keep every system in the body functioning well. So we'll take some time to do this 8 pieces brocade. And my hope for you is this: if you're practicing at home, I hope you are. I hope you have a clear space in which to practice, where you don't have anything you could trip on, you don't have any clutter on the floor or loose carpeting. Also, it's pretty common in Tai Chi and Qigong to wear shoes. It's a little different than yoga. So if you've got appropriate footwear on, there's less of a chance you might slip or have some sort of a mishap there. And then the other general idea I like for people to follow is, if it hurts, stop doing it. Because we can always modify all this stuff. It's very easy to modify. I've had students with a variety of ability levels who have all been able to find a new focus on what they can do instead of what they can't do. And that's a beautiful thing. I've said a lot. Why don't we get started? And probably the most important thing we'll do today in this lesson is deep belly breathing. And you've all heard about this. I'm sure you've done it before. But a lot of times when I ask somebody to take a deep breath, I usually see something like this, where their chest puffs out, their shoulders shrug up, and that's not as helpful as really using the diaphragm to control your breath. So with diaphragmatic breathing, some people call it just deep belly breathing, you're trying to pull the air all the way down into the stomach. So let's just try a little bit. As you breathe in, let's breathe in through the nose, slowly and deeply. What I like for people to do for this is to get their feet about hips width apart, get a little bit of a bend in the knees, tilt the pelvis back, shoulders back and down, stretch the crown of the head up. And you can, whether you're standing or sitting, focus on a really nice elongated spine. We can put the hands just below the belly button, so that way you can feel if you're doing that deep belly breathing. And as we breathe in slowly and deeply, I'm hopeful you'll feel your stomach expand out against your hands. And as you breathe out, hopefully you'll just feel your hands fall back towards your spine. So you can find a spot to focus your eyes on off in the distance. And think of it as sipping the air rather than gulping it. We're pulling in a lot of little bits of air slowly, and then letting it just passively fall out slowly. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Slower is better in Tai Chi and Qigong, and that takes a lot more focus. What we'll do here for our first exercise is we're going to use that same deep belly breathing that we were just working on. And we're going to start out with the arms hanging down and the palms up. And we'll scoop up towards shoulder height as you breathe in. We'll flip the palms up, reaching up overhead. And then I'll have you breathe out as you reach your arms out to the side. So you're scooping up, breathing in the whole time. When you get to shoulder height, we're flipping the palms up. And then we reach out and breathe out. And as we try to time the movement with the breath, something pretty nice happens here in that you really just slow everything down. Doesn't mean the tremor will go away forever. Be great if it did from this, but it does mean you can lessen the severity of it by relaxing, and more importantly, boost your quality of life despite it from a renewed focus on the breath. We'll do just a few more of these, scooping up and breathing in, flipping up, reaching way up, breathing out as you reach out. I think I've probably done 5 of them. Usually you do 8 of each of the exercises. So let's call this 7. I probably should have been counting. Last one here, breathing in, reaching up, breathing out. We'll close each exercise out with a little movement, and what we'll do is we'll scoop up to about shoulder height, and then lower the palms just below the belly button. In Eastern medicine, there's thought to be a big energy center there just below the belly button. Regardless, it's just helpful to have a point of focus to land your hands on. So that's the first one of the 8 pieces brocade. The second one is a little bit trickier, but we can pull it off. And it'll be great because we'll get to work on posture and strength and balance. We'll get out in a nice wide stance as long as you can, as long as it doesn't hurt your knees. Bend the knees some amount. If it hurts to bend too low, stay up high with your stance. If you can get low, go for it. And what we'll try to do here is I'll mirror you like you're looking in a mirror. So I'm going to move this hand. I'm going to call it my right. Move this hand. I'll call it my left. That way it's hopefully easier for you to follow along with at home. Every now and then it's not for people, and I'm sorry if that happens to you. But I'm going to take the right hand and put it inside, close to the body. I'm going to cross wrists in front of the body. So the left hand's on top, right hand's in close. Right hand makes a fist. Left hand, I'm going to curl 3 fingers to the side. I'm going to point the pointer finger up, make almost like a funky letter L here with the left palm. So we'll point the left palm to the left, keep the arms at shoulder height, and breathe out like we're drawing a bow. We'll swing the arms around, crossing wrists again. Point the palm, draw the bow. We'll breathe in here. Point the palm, breathe out. And again, crossing wrists, breathing out. And then we'll change sides. Left hand in close, right hand outside. Inside hand makes a fist. Outside hand makes that funky letter L. We'll point the palm and draw the bow, breathing out. We'll breathe in and cross wrists again. Point and draw the bow. And if you're sitting in this stance, you're probably feeling it in your legs a little bit. And regardless, if we can focus on that slow breathing with big dynamic movements, we can really open up a lot of tight areas. Let's lower the arms down, take a big step in. Reach up and lower down. That was the second of the 8 pieces brocade. The third one is pretty simple. It's a fun one too. So we're going to get a slight bend in the knees. Hips are, or feet are about hips width here. Tilt the pelvis back, shoulders back and down. Let's bring the left hand to the belly button with the palm up, and the right hand below the chin with the palm down. We call this posture holding the ball, because it's like you got a ball between your palms, a globe that you're holding. Bring that top hand just a little bit further away from your chest. We're going to scoop the bottom hand here up, breathing in. So the left hand comes up as we breathe in. We'll flip the palm up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to press the left straight up and press the right straight down as we breathe out slowly. We'll lower the top hand just below the chin. Palms face each other. So now we got the right on the bottom. We're scooping up, breathing in, flipping the palm up, pressing apart, breathing out. Lower the top hand. Palms face each other. This is my dog, Junior. He comes to visit sometimes at our clinic, Tribe Wellness here in Richardson, Texas. He loves Tai Chi and Qigong. We'll breathe in as we scoop up, flip up. We'll breathe out and press the palms straight up, straight down. Hold the ball again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower down, palms face each other. We'll do one more on each side. Breathing in. Out. Last one. Scoop up, breathing in. Press apart, breathing out. Now we'll hold the ball. And to close this one out, we'll bring that left hand up to the same height. We'll lower both hands down to our center, just below belly button height. That was number 3 of 8. Number 4 is a little more simple. And with these, they're not always easy. They're often simple, but they're not always easy. But that's okay, because the practice over and over and over is where the health benefits tend to kick in. And just like anything, if you do it once, great. If you do it with any degree of consistency, especially with exercise, it's a lot easier to build those health benefits and improve a stress response. So here we'll bring the palms down and the fingertips straight ahead. And the first part of this one, what we're doing, we've got our feet together, our knees are a little bit bent. The first part of this is we're just going to turn the fingertips away and squeeze the shoulder blades back and down, really opening up the chest. The next part to it is we're going to turn the chin to one side, following the fingertips, back to the middle, and then to the other side, following the fingertips, and back to the middle. So you can see with these nuances, it's hard to let the mind wander because there's so much to work on to get the technique right. But we got the palms down, fingertips straight ahead. Take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, let's turn the chin to the left and rotate the fingertips to the left. Squeeze the shoulder blades back, pushing the chest out. And then rotate to the middle, breathing in. Let's try the other side. Turn your head to the right, breathing out. Push the chest out. Breathe in slowly, coming back to the middle. To the left, breathing out. Pause a little bit, get a nice stretch in your neck there. Breathe in and come back to the middle. To the right again, breathing out. Back to the middle, Breathing in. Let's do one more to each side. Out. In. Out. And in. Let's draw the wrists up. Lower the palms to your center, just below belly button height. It's kind of nice to know that this is a set of exercises that has been practiced around the world for thousands of years. Here in Texas, I do a class most Saturday mornings when the weather's nice at a big public park in Dallas called Clyde Warren Park. It's a free thing, and usually we do an annual event called World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. People do something like this set of exercises along with some traditional Tai Chi movements at 10 a.m. in their local time zone all around the world. It's a really cool thing to look into, and there's a lot of good scientific research behind mindfulness forms of exercise like this. And you don't need me to tell you, you can probably even feel it. We're through number 4 of 8, and hopefully already you're feeling a little bit more at ease than when you started. That's when your body can start to reduce the amount of cortisol, the stress hormone that's heavily involved in the system with a fight or flight response when you have any type of stress. And hopefully that can help dial back any type of other health problems you got, especially the severity of that tremor. Let's do number 5. Number 5 is a little tricky, but we can pull it off. We'll get a big step out to both sides. And with this one, we're going to start out dipping a shoulder down towards the floor. So I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to dip the right shoulder down. I'm going to turn into the right. And then I'm going to roll the right shoulder back and try to straighten out a line from my heel to hip to ear. Then I'll sit back on the left leg, dip the left shoulder down, turning in, rising up a bit and rolling the left shoulder back. So we sit back. So there's good weight shifting here for leg strength and also for flexibility when we've got this wide stance. We'll dip down and turn in, rolling the shoulder back, sit back, dip down and turn in, rise up, rolling the shoulder back. And again, we're trying to get that line from the ear to the hip to the ankle to be pretty straight. Sit back, dip down and turn in, roll the shoulder back, sit back, dip down and turn in, roll the shoulder back. Let's do one more on each side here. Turning in, sitting back, turning in. Rolling that shoulder back. To get out of this, kind of like we did with the second one, we'll lower the arms down. We'll take a big step in, reaching up, and lower the hands down to the center. So that's number 5 of 8, the 8 pieces brocade. And already you're seeing we've gotten to work a lot on shoulder mobility. We've gotten some good head turning with shoulder blade squeezing that helps to loosen up areas in the neck that carry a lot of stress. We've gotten to get some good hip mobility. We're doing a lot of things here. Number 6, I'll warn you, looks crazier than any of the ones we've done. But usually when I do it, it's with a group of people and nobody else is watching us. I hope that's the case for you. It doesn't look that crazy, but a little crazy. And who cares, right? We got this. So we're going to bring the feet about hips width apart again. Make tight fists with your hands. I call this part of your hand like the donut part of your hand, okay? So where the pointer finger wraps around and where the thumb wraps around it. we're going to take those fists to your low back. The key here is gently. Tai Chi and Qigong are about gentle forces, not excessive force. Gently, we're going to start, I'll give you a side view, we're going to start tapping the low back, and then we'll start working our way down the side of your pants, tapping all the way down. When you get to the bottom, open the palms up. On the inner part of the low leg, we'll clap, and we'll work our way onto the top of the thighs, clapping. So you see, it looks a little crazy. And again, I'm in Texas, so we start out as if we're holding a big Texas-style rodeo belt buckle. We go around the belt line, and we start tapping, working our way down, rapid alternating movements with the hands. Open the palms up, clapping. Back to the belt line, going around, tapping the low back. And what's nice is this kind of loosens up some areas that are usually tight along the IT band and in the low back, promotes a lot of blood flow, and it's supposed to stimulate different meridians that are common in Eastern medicine. But what we're finding more and more in the world of scientific research in physical therapy is a lot of these things overlap. Let's do a couple more of these, meaning areas that are commonly used, for example, in acupuncture or acupressure are often the same spots that physical therapists and massage therapists find chronically tight trigger points for muscles. So we don't always know why something's working, but it's kind of cool to know that this is something that's worked for people for a long time, and it's fun to take part in something with that much tradition and history. So that was number 6, far and away the craziest of them, because we had the belt buckle thing, we're doing the tapping, we're doing the clapping, but hopefully you feel just a little bit more energized and loose. For number 7, we're going to get in a nice wide stance again. Bend the knees if you can, whatever degree you can without hurting them. A wide stance like this, we call it Ma-Bu stance, which means horse stance, because you're supposed to be wide like you're riding on horseback. We'll make tight fists with our hands, and we'll chamber those fists not at the hip, but just behind the hips. And a lot of times when I teach Tai Chi and Qigong, if I ask somebody to pivot, you know, in Western sports, we pivot a lot on the forefoot, golf or in baseball, or even in boxing, you know, we pivot on the forefoot. In Tai Chi, a lot of times, and in Qigong the same, not always, but often, we pivot on the heel, which is very different. So hopefully you can see my feet here, but we pick up the toes and turn in from the heel. This is an exercise that when we turn in from the heel, we're trying to have alignment of the toes, the hip, and the shoulder, so they all move together as one unit. So we can do this first, just going through the punching movement with it without being in a deep stance. And as you feel more comfortable with it, you can get in a lower stance. But we'll make tight fists, chamber them just behind the hips, shoulder blades back, sticking the chest out. Start out with the left side here. So we'll shift over to the right. That way we off-weight the left leg, left toes up, turning the foot, hip, and shoulder in about 45 degrees as one unit. We're going to turn in and punch across the body, keeping the head up and the back up. Then we're going to pull back, breathing in. The other side will go. We'll pick the toes up, turn in slowly, punching across, breathing out. Breathe in and reset. You can stay at that height. You can go lower if you want. You can do whatever you want. It's America, right? But in this, let's just go slowly and safely. So if you want to get lower, that's okay. Tight fists still, backs up straight, heads up high. We'll shift over, turn in and punch across. Push the hips forward. Pull back, breathing in. Right side, toes up. Turn in, punch. Breathe in slowly as we come back to the middle and straighten up. Left side, breathing out. And in. Right side, breathing out. And in. Sometimes it's helpful to imagine punching through water, slowly breathing out and in. Other side, out and in. One more on each side, out, in. Last one, out and in. We'll take a big step in as we reach overhead. Lower the palms just below the center. So that's number 7 of 8. The 8th one is probably the simplest. And it's also probably the trickiest. So know that you can do these from a chair. If your balance is off too, you can do it hanging onto something. I got a railing here. You can grab onto something sturdy like a railing to do it, because what we're going to do with the footwork is we're just going to rise up slowly onto the tiptoes, and then slowly we're going to lower down with good control. So the breath here, we kind of breathe in as if we're inflating the body up onto the toes. And we breathe out, lowering slowly. Sometimes people want to push themselves, and that's great. They want to rise up high. If you have to take a compensatory step to stay upright, that's okay, but you know your limits for safety. Hopefully you'll exercise them. The next one here, or the arm motion for this one, we've got the palms up. We scoop up just to the base of the chest, and then we turn the palms down and lower down, breathing out. So that the foot movement is simple. The hand movement is simple. What's difficult is putting them together with good control. But we can give it a shot. It'll be fun. So we got the feet hips width. Tilt the pelvis back. Stretch the crown of the head up. Shoulders back and down. Palms up. We'll breathe in and scoop up as we rise up. Palms down. Lower down, breathing out. In. Slowly and deeply breathing in as we rise up. Breathing out and lowering even more slowly. Rising up, breathing in. Lowering down, breathing out. In. Out. Let's do a few more of these, even slower. How about one more? And to close it out, we just draw the wrist up, lower the hands down just below your belly button. That was number 8 of our 8 pieces brocade. And with any, as you know, with any new type of exercise you do, it usually takes 4 weeks or so of doing it pretty consistently to feel like you're getting stronger, your balance is getting better. And with this stuff, to feel like the movements even make sense, because it takes a lot of practice. But usually after that, maybe 8 weeks or 12 weeks out, depending on what research publication you're looking at, there are more lasting changes that occur down at the cellular level in terms of your ability to have more efficient and more effective mitochondria for energy, in terms of the tensile loading capacity of muscle tissue, in terms of the length and tension relationship of really tight muscles. And what you see is through that set of exercises, we just covered a whole lot of movements of the body without any fancy equipment, without a lot of space. So remember, we'll just do a quick review. The first one, we scooped up and reached out. That was the first one. And you can watch this again, or you can look up other videos of it. The second one was that one where we were standing nice and wide and we were drawing the bow. A lot of times you'll see people alternate sides. I try to keep it simple when you first start. We did that on both sides. We did that other one where we were scooping up and flipping up and pressing apart. The fourth one, we were turning the fingertips out and opening up the chest. That's so good for mobility of your thoracic spine and for getting rid of some of the tension in the neck. The fifth one was that one where we were almost like in a 90s dance video, dipping down and turning in and popping back. Good one for hip mobility and for postural control. The sixth one was our crazy belt buckle deal where we went around the side tapping and lowering down and then clapping. The seventh one felt pretty martial artsy because we got to do some punching with a good hip turn. And then that eighth one, we scooped up and we lowered down. So you could pick whichever one of those is hardest and take that on as a challenge to work on. Or maybe you just try running that set each day or 3 or 4 days a week for a few weeks. But my hope is more than anything, you feel a little bit more relaxed and limber and loose than when we first started just moments ago. And hopefully you got some good exposure to something new, or maybe you learned a new aspect of something old. But the general idea is when you focus on that deep belly breathing, you couple it with movement, it's so much easier to stay present right now. And for somebody like me who's pretty ADD, if you ask me to sit and meditate, it might not go that well. But with action meditation, it's easier to clear the mind and train that relaxation response through the body, which can have far-reaching benefits. So I want to thank you all for doing this with me. I want to thank Patrick and the IETF for giving me a shot to give you some exposure to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you joining us. Again, great job. You were great for us at our forum in Dallas. If any of you watching this video are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely look up Tribe Wellness and look up Michael. I'm sure he'd be able to help you out. So we hope you enjoyed the program, everyone. For more information about Essential Tremor, we encourage you to go visit our newly revised and redesigned website at essentialtremor.org. You can find other items on coping techniques. You can find a support group, awareness materials to share in your community, and all kinds of stuff. And for those of you that are supporters of the IETF through a donation, we appreciate your support. If you are not a donor, we hope you will consider supporting us so we can continue in our mission and provide educational programs like this to the ET community. So once again, thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you again to Michael. Michael, have a great day. Hope you stay safe and healthy during these crazy times, and hope everyone else out there does the same thing. And we will see you all soon, hopefully at an ET education event in person in your community. So thank you all and stay safe.